So then design does play a key role, or branding in that remark, in packaging, let's say, because it makes a story easier or harder to tell. If you have like a crazy design on your brand bottle, people are going to be, is that wine with a funky design? I don't even know how to describe it. If it's a little boat, it's easy. The wine with a little boat on it.
Exactly. Exactly. And of course, when you have a real story behind the image or whatever, like, it always helps even more to sell it and to convince people to try it when you have a nice little story to tell with it. So I would even say that's part of the design. Like, when you're creating something, like, it's always a good idea to think about the story, like why it's there.
Welcome to the Future Moves podcast, the #1 podcast for simplifying and growing your business with better design. I'm Adrian Sule, and if this is your first time listening, welcome. So whether you're a tech company founder or product professional and looking to level up your game by scaling and optimizing your products and services faster with world-class design tips and secrets, this podcast is for you. Well, this evening I have a very special friend of mine who is a guest on the podcast. His name is Francis Daneau, and Francis is the founder of Le Grand Cellier, a private, and I want you to say it the right way, my French is not good, which is a private import wine agency in Quebec. He provides exclusive wines to a lot of restaurants who want to have a better wine list to offer to their customers. And Francis also has a background in sports and mechanical engineering, but always had a passion for great wine and great food. So his company now provides wines for hundreds of restaurants. And it's so weird that I'm reading from a phone, looking at you while I'm talking, because I didn't do my job to prep for this bio of yours, which is wonderful, by the way. But so he provides wines for hundreds of restaurants and private customers across the province of Quebec, Canada. Francis, welcome to the Future Moves podcast. Thank you for having you for having me here. And this is great.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
They have a great start. So for those who don't know you or know your business, first of all, how do you pronounce the business name correctly? And also, what got you into this wine business?
So how we pronounce the business name in French is Le Grand Cellier, which translates to it can be like grand can have different meanings in French. Like, it can be like tall, it can be big, it can be also great. So it's a nice word. And cellier is a cellar, so that's how you pronounce the name of the company.
Makes sense. And what got you into this business, and how did you get to where you are today? And what does it actually do for the audience that doesn't know maybe much about wine or about your business?
So basically, a wine agency like mine, what we do is that we're basically the link between the winery, the vineyard, and to you taking a wine in a restaurant or at the wine shop. So we're doing the business in between and making sure that restaurants and wine shop have great wines for
got it
for you. And so that's how the business works. And what got me into this world is mainly passion. So as you said in the intro, I have a background in mechanical engineering. I worked 3 years as an engineer before getting into this world, into this wine business, and it was one of my last job that we were working like so hard, like 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, and it was up north in Canada in the iron mine. And we're a couple of guys who just like good wines and would go to the wine shop there and buy the best bottles and have a few of those bottles like every Saturday. So that got me into the world of wine. Then I started to follow different classes, wine classes, to learn more about it. And then at the beginning, I was doing it with friends, and but at some point, I preferred like more advanced class. So then I did it on my own, and one of my last job was for Cirque du Soleil. My last job as an engineer.
Oh, okay, as an engineer. Wow,
As an engineer. So I was in charge of the HVAC unit that provides cooling or heating on the tent.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
So Cirque du Soleil, they have like big touring shows, like a big tent. So I was in charge of the cooling and heating unit that they plug on the tent and the power generator. So in terms of engineering, it was like really like an amazing job because I had like good responsibilities. I had to travel. I was working for a nice company, and so it was kind of, in my ideal, the perfect engineering job. But when I was doing it, I had way more fun learning about wine. And, I remember this time I was at the airport, like taking a flight from Montreal to Miami for a setup of a show Cirque du Soleil was doing, and normally I would have to be reading like user manuals of the power generator or the HVAC unit and understand like how this specific model works and expect what are going to be the problems and how to do maintenance on it. But I'm reading about wine and buying encyclopedias of wine and following wine courses. So at some point I decided like, okay, I have to switch and like just explore the industry, the business of wine. So I started doing small classes to share my knowledge, like private events, for people who wanted to learn the basics about wine tastings, and that's what I did for about a year or two. It wasn't working that well. Like I was able to do some, but not really enough to live on it.
Yeah.
So I went after this to explore a bit deeper the world of wine, how a wine producer, let's say in France, gets his bottle to the wine shop, or
like the complete operation from the grape to the glass.
Exactly, and to learn how this process is being done. So that's where I got my first job in the industry. I worked as a sales rep and learning how things work. So I worked for this company for a couple of months, and then I tried another company who...
Wait, this was like a wine company?
Yeah.
Okay. So you already, at this point, you already transitioned out of the engineering phase of your life.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're like, hey, what can I do next to fulfill my passion around winemaking, and how can I make a business out of it? And then you started.
Totally. Yeah, exactly. And then so I started, and at the beginning, I was very like open to learn everything. Like, so I was talking to everyone in the business, and like I just want to learn how does it work. And so for the first few months, I learned part of the business. Then I got an offer to work for another company who was doing similar things, but a different part of the business, focused more on restaurants. So I learned how that part of the business worked. And then after this, it was kind of a test also for me to see if it's something I'm able to do. Like, of course, I love it. I love that kind of job, but am I able to do it? And that last job proved that I was able to do it. And I was having fun, and the numbers were good. And so at the end of my like a bit after 1 year of this job, I decided to start my own company and go choose my wines and import them and be in full control of everything.
So you had like kind of a similar path to most successful businesses, where you stop doing what you're doing, or at least you're doing in parallel, like you were doing and reading manuals. I can imagine you behind the tent, like, hey, Francis, we need you to turn on the heat a little bit. Like, wait. Manuals about wines. Oh, Cabernet Sauvignon. Oh.
Yeah.
And then everybody burns in the tent.
not that bad.
But you went on that path, pursuing something in parallel to what you were doing day to day to earn your living. And then at some point you transitioned to your passion. you tried and failed here and there until you hit the sweet spot to make this whole business work. What was the aha, like, oh, moment where you realized, wow, this can actually work for me. I can actually make a living out of this.
That's actually a good question. Like, what there was a specific moment. It was my second job in that business, where I was doing one of the, let's say, the hardest part of the business, like to convince restaurant to buy your wine, because the competition is hard and there's a lot of people trying to sell their wines, and so and I had no connections, no sales experience. I just
like all startups in the day
scratch.
One.
So once I was able to go through the full process from cold call to getting a meeting to closing the deal after the meeting, and once I was able to repeat this a couple of times, I knew how much work it was, because you call a restaurant and you can call sometimes like 10 times before you reach the right person. And once you reach the right person, there's a lot of chances that they don't feel like talking to you because they're busy, or there's maybe 10 other agencies who call them today. So, but to be able to convince them to have a meeting and then meet you and then have them try your wines and place an order. And so to do the full process, once I did it a few times, and a couple months after, once I was just receiving texts about, hey, Francis, your wine was amazing. Just send me 2 more cases.
Validation, that's it.
Oh, wow, that's great. So this can really work. It's a good business. Like,
that was the aha. Exactly. This is it.
Because sometimes, like, you put so much effort into something,
and you don't get anything back yet.
You don't get it.
A lot of pushback.
Exactly. In this
a lot
case,
of no's and one yes.
A lot of no's and one yes. But when that one yes is just I don't know, like a $20 deal, and then that's it. It's over. It's so much work to get that one yes, but with so little income. But once you did all that work and you get that yes, but you built a relation with your customer, and that customer is trusting you, and the wines that you supplied him, his customers in the restaurant love it, and they're asking for more. Like, then the job gets much easier, and that's where the business starts to make sense.
Right.
When you can just text your customer, like, okay, like, how'd you like the wine? Like, how did it go? And I said, oh yeah, by the way, like, I ran out of your case. Like, send me 2 more this week. And so that's the haha moment where I realized, okay, there's definitely a business to explore and develop over there.
So you started to see some patterns of the way you were outreaching to customers, and then maybe try to replicate them, and from time to time try to modify them, tweak them here and there, until you figured out a pattern, a bigger strategy, let's say, not just a pattern and tactics, more like a strategy. And you're like, okay, now I know what I'm doing. When was that moment? Like, how much time has passed until you got to that moment where, okay, at this point, I'm running a business, I'm generating enough to kind of keep it alive, I'm still in the early phase, but at least I have things that work and they make sense to me and to my customers, and I can replicate this over and over again, and at some point start growing. How long did that take?
For me, it wasn't that long, because I knew specifically which wines my customers would want. Because of let's say, the 2 years that I worked in the business before starting mine.
So you learned from the customers?
I learned from the customer, and I learned from so many different things. I had my eyes like really, really open. Like, now I'm here. I'm not earning much. Like, the salaries are really, really bad. So my eyes are open and my ears are open, and I'm getting connections, and I'm talking to people, and I was looking at all kinds of aspects. Like, why does this customer like that wine? Like, Is it the price? Is it the label? Is it the taste? Is it? There's so many different things. And okay, yeah, I understood. Like, it's funny. There's one thing I understood is there's the sometimes European names are harder to pronounce in French or in English, and like you have grape varieties, and that.
But maybe that makes it more appealing.
Sometimes it makes them appealing, but sometimes it can confuse it. So what I discovered is that when there's a specific item on the label that is easy to recognize, people will associate and will remember that wine much easier. So I had a wine from an appellation that is hard to pronounce and from Spain, and people just remember like, oh yeah, the wine with the little boat. Yeah, that wine. Yeah, exactly.
So it's the visual that speaks 1,000 words. It's not the name sometimes.
Exactly.
That connects.
So that's once you understand this, the whole process goes like the restaurant owner has a staff, and then his staff, his waitress are saying like, oh yeah, we need more of the wine with the little boat. So the owner's like, okay, who has the? Okay, it's Francis. Okay, he calls me and says, "Hey, Francis, send me 2 cases of your wine with a little boat." So instead of having the real name, but
got it.
That's a little like design marketing element that people that attracts attention and makes it.
And it helps people to communicate their whatever ideas or questions better.
Yeah, communicate or remember it better, and so that's
And from now that you say that some wines, I mean, obviously the taste and the experience of drinking it and all that will be the triggering factor for going back to the same wine. But for people who maybe don't remember the name because it has all these funky words or different languages, obviously the visual part, it's always easy to describe. Oh, I had it. I don't know exactly. It was red. They had.
Yeah, it was a tree. It was.
It was in a bottle.
Obviously, but
I got it from Francis. Let me call him. He knows
exactly. Yeah.
So then design does play a key role, or branding in that remark, in packaging, let's say, because it makes a story easier or harder to tell. If you have like a crazy design on your brand bottle, people are going to be, is that wine with a funky design? I don't even know how to describe it. If it's a little boat, it's easy. The wine with a little boat on it.
Exactly. And of course, when you have a real story behind the image or whatever, like it always helps even more to sell it and to convince people to try it when you have a nice little story to tell with it. So I would even say that's part of the design. Like when you're creating something, like it's always a good idea to think about the story, like why it's there.
I believe so. I think stories are important, and I have a great question around stories. Why don't we try this wine of yours? Was it the
Pinot Dancel Black? Yeah, sure.
Spoiler alert. This is the one I like from you. Cheers. And also, it's my first podcast that I do it in person for quite a long time. I mean, not for quite a long time. All of them so far have been remote. So now we get to do this, which is great. No, I'm not a wine connoisseur. I just love this particular one. It doesn't have a tiny boat on it.
No, but this bottle has a tree on it, so it's easier. And there's it's not necessarily a funny story, but it's a tree that grows around the winery, and the name of it's called Pinot Dancel, so it's that type of tree that grows in Spain. And
it's a Spanish one, right? I always thought it's French, but I know it's Spanish. I don't know. It's just my mind going. So about storytelling, from my experience around building successful products and designing solutions and stuff like that, I feel like storytelling plays a key role. It always plays a key role in selling something and delighting someone's experience with something, whether it's a physical product, whether it's a technical product, digital product. in your case, what have you learned from storytelling? Maybe through, I know you run a newsletter around wines and things like that, but and again, you don't have to tailor your response around the newsletter, but just from your experience, even talking to customers, talking, doing your research and being in face to face with someone and learning things, like how do you feel storytelling plays a role, or does it play a key role? In my opinion, it does.
But I think that storytelling reaches people at the emotion level.
It's true. Yeah.
It's, we can talk about it for a long time, but sales are done on emotions. And
interesting.
When you're able to connect emotionally with your customer, your prospect, this is how you do business. And I think the storytelling is it's kind of a gateway, a path to someone connect emotionally, and because we all have histories of things we lived. So when you tell a story about this type of wine, it can remind you stuff that you lived, and
it brings familiarity, key points, memory of stuff you've done in the past. And but I'm getting a little bit of goosebumps right now, because funny enough, the past interview, and I shit you not, and and to the audience, by the way, we did not talk about this. I've done an interview with Christopher Soikos, who ran a business on, it's called the Beer Club. And it was a multi-million-dollar business. He exited successfully out of it, and now he's starting a new business. And guess what it's called? It's called Emotional Click, and it's about. And I swear to you, I did not lead into this, but when you said the word emotional and connecting emotions with, making people understand and see the value of something versus frightening them up of missing out if you don't have this. That's something I learned from Christopher. But just that, the fact that you said it gave me goosebumps, because I feel like the universe and everything is turning in such a way, like I'm having this, guest session with you, and you mentioned about emotions and connecting things, which was the previous episode, and just fucks with me.
But I think emotions are a big part of life and and you cannot forget this when it comes to business, because business, I believe it's all about relations that you build with people, and you sell on emotions, and that's good. I'm thinking even like in the shoes of my customers, like a restaurant, he wants to create the feeling that his customer are going to live like an experience, some emotions when they come and eat in their restaurant. And it's not, you don't go to a restaurant to just eat food and nourish or fill up your stomach. You go to a restaurant to live emotion, to laugh, to have fun with friends, or to go on a date, or so. I think it's a key element to.
I believe so,
and sales and marketing.
And I also believe it spans beyond wines. It's more of a principle to everything, to life. Like whether I'm popping up a bottle of sparkling water, it depends where I'm doing it, why I'm doing it, how I'm feeling in that moment. Am I in pain, or am I happy? Am I thirsty in this case, or am I just trying this new product? Or am I with someone that I'm having a conversation and it's fun, or am I with someone that I'm having a conversation that's boring? Am I with my loved one, or am I on a date, or am I, am I, it's like all the life circumstances around it. And I guess all those things kind of could narrate a story around a product. But what we could do as entrepreneurs, and I'm sure we're doing, is how can we create narration almost like a spectacle, or almost like an entertainment piece when those people step into our world, whether it's wines, again, sparkling water, or something else,
or any type of business, whatever.
But from your experience standpoint, I want to know how your end customers, and we'll talk about their customers too, enjoying your wine. But from your standpoint as a business, your end customers, which were like, does anything come to mind as a story that you've either accidentally built or intentionally built or naturally,
No, but I
like
have
in a conversation with a customer or whatever, and you were like, after that you were like, wow, I feel like it fulfilled me, like this whole moment we just had, it fulfilled me beyond the business. Like I really enjoyed time with that person, and we both benefited from the transaction, but at the same time we both walked away almost as future friends or something. Like
I think a lot of business connections and relation, I try to see them like that. And like when I meet someone, like I try to go like beyond just the business deal and think like would you go like have a drink with that guy or that girl, and let's so that's what I love about the job, and how it's all about connecting. And I remember once I met one customer, the owner of a couple of restaurants, and I met him for the first time, and he told me, like, he said, like, the job that you're doing is one key element is trust. How fast and how much trust can you build in the other person? Because he was telling me, like, me, I don't know you, like, known you for a couple of minutes, and that's it. And so you have to convince me that you're trustworthy. And he was telling me that he used to be a pharmacy sales rep.
Oh.
So, and he's saying, like, it's not that complicated. It's just like, do what you say that you're going to do, and the trust is built slowly. So he was telling me, like, if you tell me that you're going to come in at 10 for your meeting, well, come at 10 and come on time. So this way I trust you. Okay, you can
that's
come on time.
That's the first step in the trust process.
That's the first
Show
step.
up.
Or like, you tell me during the meeting, okay, in 5 minutes after, I'm going to send you the technical sheets of all the wines that we tasted together. Well, do it.
Yeah.
Do it within the time you said.
Right.
So it's with small things like this that the trust is being built up, or not being built up. And
or lost.
Exactly. So I think that's another key element of.
I know. I mean, trust is a big thing, and that's not something you build overnight, or with beautiful words, or with beautiful websites, or videos, or podcasts, even with anything. It's giving value back to those end customers without them asking for it, and giving that with full-hearted.
Yeah, and to be authentic and
authenticity,
to be yourself, and not inventing like whatever. Like you're there, you're yourself, and that's it. You're not gonna create like a different personality for selling your wine. Like, just be yourself, and that's it.
I know, man. It's not. You know what? It's not easy, but at the same time, it's not even a job. As long as you're a good person outside of the business hours.
Yeah.
I don't see why that should not reflect into the business as well, and kind of use it as a giveaway tool to attract more business at the end of the day. Yes, you have an agenda, but at the same time, yes, you are genuine as a person. You're not there to sell. You're there to help someone solve a pain. In this case, you're there to help. Actually, this is interesting. Let's say I'm doing some research about how this business works, and I want to understand what kind of pains. I'm just putting my hat of a UX researcher or something like that. Like, what kind of pains these customers have from like restaurant owners?
Yeah, well, there's different kind of pain that they can have, like wine related. Like the wine part of the restaurant business is seen different from different owners of restaurants. Some restaurant owners, like, they don't want to get involved at all with this, so they either.
But that's a pain for you, not for them.
Yeah, but it's something that they have to solve because they.
How do you find product market fit, service market fit, and what have you tried? What worked? What didn't?
I think, well, in that case, for me, for my business, it's all about like finding the greatest wine for the greatest price, and I always try to find like a wine that I taste that I'm like, wow, this I would pay $30 a bottle for that. And I try to find wine like this that I can pay for $20 a bottle, and where I'm gonna have my customers try it and they're gonna tell me like, what's the price of this? Is it it tastes like at least like 40, $50 a wine, and then no, it's just 25 or 27. So it's the taste. That's the idea, like to really try to bring value to a customer, and that's one of the things that I find beautiful with the world of wine, is that the world of wine is so wide. You have wines and for everyone, like for everyone's taste, and as an individual, like me myself, I love all kinds of wine. Like I like sparkling wine, I like white, I like rosé, I like red, I like sweet dessert wines. So I like all kinds of wine if they're done right. And I think anything can be beautiful, and that's why the world of wine is so amazing
and vast.
And vast, like
it's not like
it's crazy.
No, it's not like ketchup.
No, exactly. Well, one of the thing I was saying in when I was doing the wine classes with small groups when I started in this industry, I was finishing the course with an analogy of how humans, individuals, are all unique, and our personality was shaped from our life experience and the context where we grew up. Did this person grew up in China, or he grew up in Switzerland in the mountains? This is gonna shape that person. That this person lived in a big family, like with 10 brothers and sisters, or was it with one brother or alone? What kind of school did he go? What kind of friends did they have? And all this shapes us as human beings, and we have our preferences with different personality because of the way we grew up. Like we get along much better with different type of personality, and
introverts, extroverts, whatever.
Yeah, all that. And sometimes like you get along and with someone, and another person you don't get along so much, but that's it. And that's our own personality, how we became. And I see an amazing parallel with wine, with the world of wine, because the place and where the grape grew. The grape was a grape grown in close to the sea, or again in a mountain, or in a very, very hot climate.
What altitude?
Exactly. Was it very high in altitude? This affects. Was it exposed with always the west sun? Or was it the morning sun? Or this has influence. And after this, the winemaker is kind of the parent of the wine. Like, did the winemaker decide to use pesticides to protect the vines, or did he grew it like more using natural methods, or more natural ways, or did he use oak to give personality to the wine, or he preferred the personality of no oak, no aging, or so in a similar way. After this, you have all kinds of varieties of wine, and same with personalities. We have our preferences, and some we like better, some we like less, and so. I love this parallel of comparing wine to individuals and people.
That's super interesting, because it does make complete sense. I'm looking at one example. Yeah, let's have another sip. This is so good, actually, especially the way you put it in such a delicate format and try to create all these metaphors around wines and humans and stuff. I just want to try this one right now. Tastes amazing. So it's quite something how you can have one person, and just a side note here, I feel like it's so hard for me to gear this conversation towards technology and product because it's such a beautiful subject to just dive deeper and deeper and not care about that side of things. And this podcast is geared around services and products and things that are technical and online. And I know your business is tangent to some of that, but before we go on that side, we don't even have to go there, because this conversation is also at this point is super organic and nice. And what I was gonna say is, I've noticed people, like, you can have two different and they'll look at the same wine, try the same wine, and they'll have a different experience. And that's the same with people to people. You can have two different people looking at another one, both of them, they'll have a conversation or interaction, and then one of them will like it, the other one will not. It's the same with the wine.
And you can even have this with only one person. You can have you can taste a wine once in a special context and fall in love with this wine, and you're like, whoa, it's one of the best wine I drank in my life. And then you buy another bottle, and then you try it in a different context. You're like, okay, yeah, it was good, but it's different. Or maybe you're gonna still like it. And same with people. You can meet someone and they're like, oh wow, this person is amazing, and connect, and then meet another time and like, oh okay, yeah, not as much as I thought, but that's
I don't know, I'm trying to find another analogy to something else. I have a few. I'm not going to say them because there's maybe too out there, too much out there. But just going back to the business side of things, I wanted to ask you, what are some of the mediums or channels that you have tried reaching out customers? And in this particular industry, or in your particular experience, has the digital side of things worked better than the physical ones and in person and the locale? Like, you go somewhere, you try to first nail down your outreach around your town, and then I don't know, I would curious, what's the mix there between digital and physical in terms of scaling your business, reaching out to customers, finding new customers?
Like, I would say for my case, there's not much fancy. Like, it's often just a phone call or text or email, referrals, or like maybe sometimes on Facebook. I like spending time on Facebook just to see, like, to follow the restaurants that are my customers and people in this industry, to just have an idea, like, what they're living, what's going on, and to find new restaurants. So that's one of the way. There's actually some apps that I've seen people using, like, and I don't use it much, but there's a Vivino. That's famous, and
it's like self-education on wines if you have questions and curiosity.
Education, but how Vivino is done is user generated content.
Reviews, based on reviews.
It's reviews, and also it's you can just scan your bottle, and then you're gonna have the reviews of everyone, like how they like the wine. And I know that some places in the world you can sell through this app, and that it worked really, really well. One of my producer in Italy, Sold a lot of wine through this app. Here in Canada, it's a bit more complicated because we have to deal with the government monopoly.
Right.
So we cannot really sell with this app, but it's a tool that works very well, and I think they worked on the UX part of it, like make it
made it easy,
user friendly, and nicely done. So that's one app that I can think of.
From your methods of outreach, what have you tried so far? Is it like Facebook campaigns or content marketing or
It's
ads or
in my case,
or in person, just knocking on the restaurant door? Hey, I have something else. I'm better than the rest.
In my case, it's more like this. Like it goes from cold call, and you try to get an appointment with someone, and you start building a relationship like that, and then you just communicate, contact with text or with Messenger, but it's the same thing, or like emails. So it's nothing like really fancy. It's just a matter of keeping contact, and
it's the structure and the person behind the lines and behind the call that makes a big difference.
Totally.
That's actually an interesting approach, because many people think they need to leverage all these new latest technologies and gadgets and to reach their audience, which is great. You can make some real proper business damage positively. I mean,
yeah, totally.
But I guess what many startups and tech founders or whatever people in this industry might not see or might be swayed away by the technology is, hey man, in this world, emails still work, texting still works, knocking on a door still works. You want to validate your product, knock on a door, give them like a $25 gift card and learn about whatever the pains are, or
bad websites.
Bad websites still work.
Horrible.
Look at Craigslist. Look at eBay.
Exactly. But you can't see, like the bottle of wine is all small, and you can't see anything.
People still buy it because
exactly. So that's why, like,
if the product is good,
if the person talks about it, or like is able to communicate and contact and properly, like it makes a big difference. And
it does. No, I bet. So we're heading towards the ending of this episode. Can you tell me a story of your experience getting choosing the product, like curating the product from the producer, meeting the producer, traveling to their home country, seeing how they're doing things and such. From there, connected from A to Z, like to the person putting it in their glass and saying, "Oh my God, you guys at restaurant X, where did you get this?" Like, and then the restaurant owner comes to you like, "Oh my, I need another 100 bottles of these." Tell me a story like that. I'm sure you have one.
Yeah, there's one of the winery I'm working with. It's called Stefano Accordini.
Stefano Accordini?
Yeah, it's in Veneto, so northeast of Italy, close to Venice.
Oh.
And so I was looking specifically for those type of wine. It's Amarone della Valpolicella and Valpolicella Ripasso.
Wait, what's the connection with the other one?
It's wines that they make in this winery.
Oh, okay, got it.
In this region, but I was looking for a good Amarone and good Ripasso. So for at least a year or two, I've tasted so many samples, and I was never like really happy of what I tasted. And it was at a tasting in New York.
Wow.
Where I went there, I saw, the producer had Amarone and Ripasso. Tried it. Wow, that's really good. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Chatted with the owner of the winery. Was there.
Oh, the owner was there in New York?
Yeah, it was there to promote his wine in New York market, since Montreal is not too far from New York, so I like to go
fascinating.
there. Exactly. And so we chatted there, and it took some time before we started to do business. There was like some legal contract issues, and But finally, we were able to start doing business. I went to see him at a winery that invited me. Like we had like an amazing dinner and a big event, and so it was a lot of fun. And it's also great to see and meet the family, to see that to learn about their story, like where they came from, how they started everything, and the product speaks for itself. You just have to taste it, and it's just mind blowing.
But what happened after that? Well, first of all, why were you in New York at this tasting gallery?
Because I knew that New York was organizing this event
Okay.
once a year, where you could meet like a bunch of wineries trying to
a good networking for you for starting out a business.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's where why I went there, and luckily I met this winery, and I'm really happy to do business with them now.
What happened? Like you just placed a big order or whatever, some orders, or have you ever been in Italy?
Yeah.
Or-
No, I've been to this winery. I met.
To his winery?
Yeah.
Or just
Yeah, I met the first time in New York, but later that year, like I went to the winery to meet them, and so.
well, did he know? I mean, you just pop there. Hey.
No. It was during like other events. And,
Okay.
Organized.
But in Italy.
So, yeah, in
Got it.
a club. Yeah.
What was the winery like?
How can I say that?
Everything you've seen in movies, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. It's classic, typical wineries, like beautiful in the mountain. It's
Describe to me, what's the landscape around there? Because you mentioned earlier the height,
exactly.
the sun, and
It's
all those
one of
elements.
the highest in elevation winery of this region. It's just beautiful. You're in the mountains. You see the valleys, the vines everywhere. So the landscape is just beautiful.
I bet.
So no, it's great, and they have also like this little place where where you can stay overnight, and you can have like a great time there, and
Nice.
have.
Did you get a chance to talk to the owner again?
Yeah,
I guess so, because that's why you went there.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and we're in contact like every couple of months for orders and general business stuff. So.
There's a movie with Anthony Hopkins about I don't know exactly what's it called, like somewhere up in the sky, something like that. In the war era, Keanu Reeves plays in it, and he's got like there's something related to a box of chocolates, and Anthony Hopkins was the.
I'm really bad.
No, not Anthony Hopkins. Not Anthony Hopkins. I make a big mistake here. It's Anthony Quinn.
Anthony Quinn.
Yeah.
And Keanu Reeves.
And Keanu Reeves. It's an old movie. I think 1994, 1995. So I'm trying to.
I'm really bad with movies. I cannot really help you with that. But
anyway, it's somewhere up in the clouds. I think it's the name or something like that. Anthony Quinn. Anyway, but the story is beautiful because he's trying to get to this. He's trying to convince his new girlfriend that he's either, maybe I'm mistaking exactly the story, but that either he's the father of a child that she had with someone else and maybe that person died, or that they need to that they got married and they are married but they haven't. Something happened in the war part. I'm leading to something. And then she invites him back to her winery somewhere in Italy, and then and sorry if it's not in Italy, maybe it's in France, I don't know. But maybe, I don't know. So he goes there, he meets his parents, his father acts like a dick with him, as all dads should. But the grandfather is like, come here, son, let's go, let me show you what I have in the basement. So we're all running this winery here and blah, blah, blah. Let me show you. So they start trying all these wines in the cellar, sorry, not basement. Yeah. It's a bad thing to say about wines, basement, cellar. So they go into the cellar and and Anthony Quinn, the grandfather, gets super pissed with Keanu Reeves, and they share some nice stories and they connect, and it's like he almost gives him approval to take his granddaughter for marriage, and his father was against it. But that moment was so sweet, and I'm trying to relate to this, to what we were talking earlier about how storytelling and how stories and experiences matter so much through the product, through a service, through something that someone uses it as a, as something that fulfills their life in one way or another. In this case, it's wine. In other case, it's a pair of socks, whatever.
Totally.
But yeah, I just remember about that story. I wanted to share it. I didn't do the best job explaining the movie, but maybe I'll find it after and put it in the show notes or something. It's a great movie. It's romantic. It's like a drama war type of movie, and romantic, but it has at the core, the core is the romance, but it has like the theme of it is around a winery, and it's a nice story.
Yeah,
it's the wine speaking, I guess.
Yeah, no.
So let's close this one up with. I have two questions, super easy ones. One is, actually, I have three questions now that we say wine, and it's hard to ask. Like, what's your favorite wine? Not type, brand, actual. No, it's hard. I know it's a messed up question to ask someone who's in this business.
No, and especially as I told you, like there's so many different wines that I like.
Today is this one, tomorrow might be another one.
Exactly, and so I think to choose like your favorite wine, like it depends a lot on the mood. Like which mood are you in? Like sometimes you feel like drinking white. Sometimes you feel like drinking red or
dessert. Would I make it easier if I say what is your favorite wine type? Not, again, I know it depends on events. Yeah. I have a favorite wine type. I do have one, which is Cabernet Sauvignon. That's my favorite wine type of everything. Obviously, I won't have it with fish or other, like you say, circumstances. But that's my favorite one.
Yeah, but Cabernet Sauvignon is a grape variety.
Yeah, it's a grape variety. That's my favorite one.
You can make different styles of
Cabernet Sauvignon. That's why I don't want to get into the brands and the regions and everything. But as a type of wine, type of grape, Cabernet Sauvignon is my favorite. It's your favorite. It's not nothing in the whites and nothing else in the reds. I like, there's a bunch of other ones I like in the reds, a bunch of ones I like in the whites, but that's
not
my
as much as Cabernet Sauvignon.
Favorite one. Do you have a favorite category?
A favorite like grape variety?
Grape variety.
It's too hard to say, like because I enjoy like such a great variety and grapes at different levels of intensity I can.
It makes it harder for you to say because you understand them.
I can love like amazing Pinot Noir when it's done perfectly, and even Pinot Noir you have like also a huge variety of styles. But
Pinot Noir it is.
But at the same time, at the other extreme, I love a good Amarone.
Okay.
Amarone is one of the highest in alcohol, boldest, like full-bodied red. A lot of people find it too heavy, too intense.
I'm sure.
But I love Amarone, and I'm gonna have like I don't mind like having a great glass or even a bottle of Amarone. It's beautiful, and so that's why like. I cannot answer like with one.
Yeah, with one. It's not as easy.
It's too,
I know. Okay, so my last one, and it's a bit off. I mean, I usually ask this question, but do you have like a particular brand in mind or winemaker, or it could? Usually, my question is around. This question is around. Technology. So do you have a particular technology company in mind that you have gotten a lot of great value from? It can be big or small as a company, and that you admire a lot for different reasons, whether it's the delightfulness of the experience, whether it is the design, or all of those things, plus the value it gives you and the needs and pains it solves for you. And it doesn't have to be related to business. It could be in your personal life as well. I'm just curious.
And it's funny because how you formulate your question. I'm not going to answer directly this because
It's okay.
I get inspired a lot by the people that I meet.
Okay.
I can think of a few people in this industry, on the producer side, that have inspired me enormously, or
That's a good answer.
who have helped me a lot. I can think of one guy where he's one of the first person who sent me some samples to
like a mentor or
no he was working for a winery in Italy and sent me some samples, but just the way he connected, we set up a phone call meeting first, we chatted for a few minutes and sent me some samples, just the way he was doing follow-ups. He came to see me in Montreal first before I went there. We had great meetings, and the kind of person, the people that when you meet, they make you feel good. They make you feel everyone around themselves good. They have this kind of
je ne sais quoi.
Yeah, or charisma without necessarily taking space, or but just presence and
right.
So
while giving you some value, because you must have learned some valuable lessons from him that you're applying in your day-to-day business, I guess.
Yeah, so this guy, I can think of...
what's his name, if you can...
Gian Piero.
Gian Piero. Gian Piero, if you're listening, Francis loves you.
Exactly. So this is one of the guy, and I can think of also a family in Piemonte, so that's northwest of Italy. The name of the winery is Bruna Grimaldi. So Buna is the owner with her husband of the winery, and I met her son Simone also in New York, but long before I was in the wine business, and I tasted his wine, and I said, "Wow, your wine is amazing. Let's keep in touch. If ever I have a wine company, I want your wines." And that's what happened. So when I started the company, I remembered Simone from Bruna Grimaldi. I contacted him through Facebook because we kept contact, and I'm selling his wines, and I have now or soon almost all of their wines in my portfolio, and I love working with them. When you were talking about a winery that brings value to the restaurant, to the customer, all of their wines do. So
it's amazing because there's the aspect of two different things that I see. One is the product itself that a business can provide, and it could be an amazing product, but the support and the company and the founders can be shit. And then there's the other side. Well, actually, there's three things that can happen. The product is shit, but the company and their support and everything is amazing, and they try to talk nice to you, but the product is shit. And both of them will end in failure. And then there's the combination of the positives of those two. So both the product is amazing, and you get an amazing support and motivation from, or I don't know, motivation, but beautiful approach and soft skills practiced by these folks. And at this point, it's not even skills. It's not something you learn. It's just something you get brought up based on your family and everything. And they love their business.
Exactly. So. And when you they love their business, and they put their heart into it. And then when you meet those authentic people, you want to work with them, and you want to keep bringing on this authenticity because they're authentic. They put their heart into what they're doing, and the love of everything they do, and it makes your job easier because you just have to carry on this authenticity and
share the story as well. So I like the organic side of things, of doing these conversations with customers, where it's not about, hey, Mr. Customer, we need to do a customer interview with you to learn more about your pains and needs, which is how the product design folks think in this industry, which is correct. It's just the way the information is kind of put forward. It sounds like it's a bit like a process. and of formality. But what I'm learning from you right now is that it could be tweaked a little bit in a way where, hey, Mr. Customer, scratch that. Hey, Mr. What's your name? Whatever his name is or her name is.
Yeah.
And I would like to learn more about your struggles, and can I help? Because at the end of the day, if you do well, I do well, and you'll buy my products and stuff. So what can I do to help you? Can I don't know, something, whatever it is, not necessarily cut my prices. That's not a strategy. But how can I help, and what are your challenges? Like you said, I like this idea, this method of approaching folks at the personal level and at the human level.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's a lot about spending time with them and just to learn more and connecting and
and not have an agenda, just
exactly. Just genuine, chat and
be genuine.
Exactly.
Cool. No, this has been a super interesting and fascinating conversation. Very different from all my other ones, which is great. I like this sort of variety in my discussions, and I really personally enjoyed it. And it's not just the wine. It's this was a fun conversation. So I just wanted to check with you if you're fine sharing with the audience listening or watching this. How can people reach out to you? How can people learn about Francis Daneau, and how can people learn about Le Grand Cellier, your business?
Sure. So basically, people can go on our website, grandcellier.com, and
how do you spell that? Sorry, L-E.
I'll pronounce it again in French. So it's grandcellier.com. So grandcellier.com.
Got it.
So basically, we do most of our business to restaurants because the way our business is structured, we have to sell a full case of the same wine. Mm-hmm. So, but some private customers, they're okay, and they when they love a wine, they don't mind having 12 bottles or. So that's one way, and that's a great way also to learn about wine. So on our website we have the technical sheets of all the wines we have. So it's information about the serving temperature, the aging potential of each wine, how it's been done. So you can find a lot of information on our website, and people can order it. So just send us an email at info@grandcellier.com, and that's the
sweet
easiest way. And
no, it's been great to have you here, Francis. And
thanks for having me, and it was a pleasure and fun talk, and it's always fun to talk about wine and business and all that. So nice talking to you.
Thank you.